on real estate topics. Occasionally, you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of our experienced agents at Boston Connect Real Estate. Be a part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We'd love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you like to listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with me at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate.
And hello to all our South Shore neighbors. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Melissa Wallace, and I am joined live and in studio by the one and only Sharon McNamara.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, it's a beautiful Saturday morning.
It absolutely is. Yes,
it is.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I was going to be able to get coffee for us this morning, but then I saw that there wasn't really any traffic in the center of town because the fair's going on. Or
the Haymarket.
Yeah, the Haymarket.
I mean the farmers market in Pembroke Center. Yeah.
Going on. So, but I was able to sneak in, get us some coffee, and come back. I was really hoping that the donuts would be here today, but I think they're at the farmers market. But yes, we are live here at WATD, or we're really at our home office here at 19 Mattakeesit Street in the heart of Pembroke Center. Today, Sharon and I are going to be sort of giving a real estate update for everybody. So we're calling it what's going on in the real estate market, or we're calling it just shooting the crap.
Yeah, just shooting the poop this morning. Shooting the poop about real estate, aka we don't really have a topic for today. I guess that's how that's going to go.
Yeah, we're just going to wing it. I mean, Tracy and I wing it sometimes. We just do the show, and honestly, we hope that people listen and love it, so
yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, we do have a couple new listings here at the office as well. You have a new listing here in Pembroke.
Yeah.
And I know you have 2 more listings coming on in the next couple of weeks in Pembroke, so the office put on 9 listings last week. So it's funny because last night I was stopped by somebody, and they're like, "Oh, you work with Sharon McNamara?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And we were talking about the radio show and everything. And he's like, "How's the real estate market?" That's my best impression of that person. And it's funny because we get that question all the time, and it's almost like I don't really know how to answer it, because it's like, okay, so what perspective do you want to hear? Do you want to hear from a seller's perspective? Do you want to hear from a buyer's perspective? I'm very like, it depends, like an attorney.
I was just going to say that.
It
really does depend. And, it matters which way you're looking at it. What lens are you looking at it from, the buyer's lens or the seller's lens?
Yeah. Before we get started, I do want to say that we are live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, I think LinkedIn, everything. So be sure to follow us on social media. Boston Connect Real Estate. We're also live on Sharon Costa McNamara. I think we might be on the Connect pages as well, so I can double check on that. But I'm going to be watching our live feed on my phone. So if you have any questions or you want to join in on the discussion, be sure to comment on any of our streams. You can also call. I think we have Tim today at WATD. You can call or text.
Yes. Hello. Good morning, ladies. Hello.
Hello. You can call or you can text Tim at WATD. It's 781-837-4900. Again, 781-837-4900. We'd love to hear from you. We want to hear what you think that is going on in the real estate world. see if it matches what we think is going on, seeing as though we live, breathe, eat, sleep real estate, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's been really, really busy out there. It's been really, really crazy, but it's also been a little different as well. So as busy as it is, there's been a lot of, I know you and I were talking, probably some stories we can't share on the air about some crazy things that we've been hearing people say.
Did you hear my big sigh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's only because, I mean, I'm not really like interacting so much with a lot of clients or potential clients, other agents' clients, other agents in other offices, and I feel like I come in if like something's wrong or there's an issue or something, and I have to sort of intervene and sort of try to sort it all through. But the past couple weeks I've been pulled into directions being like, what? Mm-hmm. Like I'm like, what? This is like,
yeah.
And again, we're not going to give too much detail, but it's like there's some interesting things that are going on that I'm like, what? How do people think like that? So I guess I could put it loud. I'm like, huh? How does that make any sense?
So how did you say how you responded to him last night when he asked how's the market?
I literally said, well, it depends on if you're a buyer or seller. And he's like, well, I want to know what a 4-bedroom colonial in Pembroke is going for these days. And I said, well, Sharon just put a 3-bedroom colonial on the market.
Exactly.
And I said, but tune in tomorrow. We might be talking about it on the show.
Maybe he's tuning in. Just have me come over to your house and I'll tell you exactly what a 4-bedroom colonial is worth. Well, and that's part of the problem. And I think that we were hitting upon this last week. Weren't we talking about this a little bit last week as well? What was our topic last week?
What was our
topic?
Does
anybody remember?
Hello?
Was Tim paying attention? Oh, no, Tim.
Yes, we didn't have Tim.
Wasn't in last week. It was Dave. I was like, and my favorite person, Tim. And he's like, it's Dave.
It's Dave. We're like, our fourth in the world.
Our fourth. Come on now.
In the world.
Dave's a good guy.
Dave is a good guy. He
is.
He did a really good job. Yeah. It just wasn't you.
Trust me, I wanted to be here, but I couldn't make it.
Tim, we have a list. It's you, it's Mark, it's my boyfriend, and then it's Dave.
Wow.
That's what it is.
Jeez. Okay. All right.
You're up there.
That's your list. Okay.
That's our
official,
list of 4 guys.
Right?
Yeah. I got a guy.
I got a guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't remember what we talked about last Saturday, and neither does Tim because he wasn't here. So,
I'm surprised he wasn't listening in.
Yeah. Huh. I have to go back on the because I don't think it's uploaded yet. So
I was still sleeping. Sorry.
Oh, good. Yeah. Doesn't that feel good?
Good for you.
Oh, yes, it does. It feels great.
I'm telling you right now, I can't wait to get some sleep.
I wish I was sleeping better. I can't breathe.
Well,
it's wild out there.
Yeah.
Not just in the real estate world, but also in the pollen world. It's a little bit too much for me.
Do we always say, is this the worst? Every year, I feel like I say, this is the worst I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I guess. Listen, I don't remember what we talked about last Saturday. I don't remember what you talk about every single year with the pollen, okay? But yeah, no, we promised that this is a real estate show. So yeah, we're going to talk about some real estate. Mm-hmm. You hosted an open house last night. And I do want to say when it comes to that, I think for a little while or maybe a couple of years, we stopped doing like the commuter open houses. But I've noticed them come back in trend. So I guess that could be sort of like a starting point for us. So we're like, it was very much like, oh, we hosted an open house. We had, showings all weekend. And now, we have an offer deadline of Monday or Tuesday or something like that. Mm. And we sort of had commuter open houses put on the, on the back burner.
On the back burner, yeah. We used to do them. And then, yeah, like you said, we sort of decided not to do them. But it was interesting, too, though, because a couple of different things that I am seeing in the market right now. And Mary and I, as a team, have been putting on, for the last 3 weeks, we've put on 2 new listings every week. This week, we were supposed to put 2 on, but then the homeowner is actually going to be going away and opted to wait until she comes back. So that one will be on the next week or so. And then we have a couple more that are coming on in the middle of the month as well. And it's been extremely interesting to sort of watch how things have been happening. Mm-hmm. Because I'll tell you, I put on this 3-bedroom colonial. I know my comps are solid. If there's one thing that I will, and I don't even, is the word conceited? I don't know if it is conceited because I don't consider myself conceited, but one thing confident. One thing I take a lot of pride in and have a lot of confidence in is I know how to price a house. And you know why? It's actually quite simple.
What is it, Sharon?
It's just simple. I mean, numbers are numbers. Like, numbers don't lie. Yeah. But where we are right now has made it a little more difficult. And I have to tell you, there are a couple of my clients right now that totally get it. They understand when I'm talking, like, these are the numbers. but they're watching. I mean, I have one coming up in a couple weeks, and he called me and he's like, I keep on thinking about these numbers and I see houses going on the market, but they're not selling as fast as they were previously. And I see them on the market longer, and I'm starting to see a lot of price adjustments.
Well, here's the thing, you've priced certain things appropriately, and you just said you're confident in your pricing when it comes to, pricing a new listing and everything. But that's all fine and dandy, but you have to have a buyer that's willing to pay that.
Yeah.
And that's the other part of it. Pricing a house is saying, okay, this is the house. This is the house, the price based on the condition, location, everything. You always say that, but the other part of it, the flip side of it, is that somebody has to come in and want to buy that for that price.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that there's a couple of different things. I think that buyer clients right now and home buyers right now, they're not as much as looking. Well, of course, they're looking at the price. That doesn't make sense not to say that, but they're looking at what their payment is. And like I said, I think I brought this up last week. If we're thinking about a $600,000 house with a 20% down payment, I mean, that payment is going to be $4,300 a month, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so people are looking at that number and basing it upon, am I willing to pay $4,300 for a 2-bedroom condo? Let's just say that. Like, I'm making stuff up right now, right? Or is $4,300 a month worth it for me to have a 6-bedroom colonial? Right? Like, I think that that's what people are doing. I think they're weighing the value of that monthly payment. Yeah. And if you're out there, if you're a current buyer or a current seller and you're seeing a little bit of a shift in the market, today is, that's what we can say. What the shift is going on. Or we're just shooting the shift. We're shooting the shift this morning. Call us. I have Tim in the studio, 781-837-4900. He will pipe you over to us. And I'd just love to get your feedback this morning. And just let's have a little chit chat about this, because we really don't have a topic and we're making this all up right now.
Yeah, we're making it up.
But we're making it up.
It's facts.
Yeah. I see Dee is watching. Good morning,
yes,
ladies.
Good morning, Dee.
Good morning. Good morning to you as well. And Dee, maybe if you want to pipe in a little bit and let us know what your thoughts are, you can just write us a comment right there and we'll be able to see it on our new version of StreamYard.
Yeah. Kristen Howlett's watching us as well.
Hey,
hello.
Kristen.
And congratulations to Owen, her youngest. Graduated Milton Academy yesterday or Friday. So congratulations.
That was yesterday.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what day it is ever.
That's because every day is the same.
Every day's the same.
Every day is the same.
I'm lucky I show up where I'm supposed to.
No, I am not even kidding. I got out of bed one day last week. Oh, no, last Sunday, a week ago, tomorrow. A week ago yesterday, whatever day it is. And I, honest to God, did not know what day it was. And I sort of got panicked by it, you know what I mean? And so then I had to ask Mark. I was like, what day is it? And he's like, Sunday. I was like, oh, I thought it was Tuesday.
There's like a meme that's like, when you're in your 30s, you still like wake up with a nightmare thinking that you're late for school.
Do you know what nightmare I used to have? I love that you always get me off topic. You bring the best out of me in my memories. I used to have a nightmare about wearing one blue sock and one green sock to school, because we had a choice when I was in elementary school with my uniform. We could wear blue or green, and I always had a nightmare of wearing one of each.
Oh.
Yeah, and right now
those
I'd
are
be
the
like,
only
who
two
cares?
socks you could wear?
Yeah, that's the only two colors we could wear, blue or green. When I got into high school, we could only wear brown.
Oh. That sounds boring.
It was really boring. And I remember when I went to high school, I went to Monsignor Ryan Memorial High School, and up until my junior year, then my parents decided that moving to West Bridgewater would be a great idea. So that's what they did. And I went from wearing a school uniform every day to not, and being in a public school. But I remember we had to wear brown shoes as well. So we had brown sweaters. I don't look good in brown. I don't. And
that's interesting, because blondes do look good in brown.
Yeah, I just don't. And then we had to wear brown shoes. And I remember the first day of school, like one of the nuns came up to me and they're like, Miss Costa, your shoes are not brown enough. And I had to go out that day and get new shoes.
I used to have to wear it was called Hide Dress. Every Monday, every single one of us would wear khakis. We could wear a khaki skirt if we wanted to.
You know what we should do?
And a navy
go
sweater.
ahead. Sorry.
And a white collared shirt.
Emmy, can you come here for a second? Come on in. Can
Come
you
on in,
give her
Emmy.
your headphones and give her that? Hi. Emmy, can you tell us what's going on today and something you've been a big part of? So this is Emmy Flaherty. She's a full-time real estate agent here at Boston Connect Real Estate. She has taken my crown of event queen, and she does so much for the community as a broker. Honestly, I am so proud of her for how much she gives back to our community. She is always doing something on top of all of her real estate, on top of having 2 children, on top of helping her husband with, his business. But you have something big happening today. So what's going on?
I do. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I came in to print something, but this is pretty exciting. So this morning we are launching the Pembroke Farmers Market right behind our brand new community center.
Yay, that's so exciting. So we're going to have a farmer's market right in Pembroke Center, right behind the new community center, right in the center of town. So tell us a little bit about some of the vendors. Melissa and I are guessing the donut people are there because they're not here.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're parked over there.
Yeah,
So
they're
yes,
cheating on me.
They are. They'll be back for everyone that wonders. They'll be back on the 14th here to the office.
Okay. So how many weeks will you have the farmer's market?
19.
19 weeks. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Tell us about some of the vendors.
So we have Pembroke's very own Cushing Farms that they're right diagonally across the street from your listing here on Center Street.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So they're our anchor farm. So they'll be providing us produce all season long.
Nice.
We have Diaz and Daughters, which is meat. And then we have such a great variety. We have Pembroke's very own Blackbird Baking Company. And she does a lot of local cookie classes. So
Yeah,
I
you
think
do a lot with her.
I do. So people know who she is. We have Mrs. Mel's Morsels, who's the cupcake lady. Oh. She does cakes too, but she's extremely talented. Hippie Pilgrim, the garlic salts. Those are huge.
Yeah, those are great. Mm-hmm.
We have Hale Bone Broth, which they're out of Hanover. They actually run the Hanover Farmers Market along with some other folks, and they'll be there today.
Okay, awesome.
So I think our total lineup is about 15 or 16 vendors
Oh,
today.
that's great. So is it all food? Will you have other things like dog collars and that type of stuff as well?
So we have a community table, and that will rotate every week. This week it is the library. So the library, we're going to have someone reading children's stories today.
Nice.
Yep, and then we have
I
yoga.
have a microphone if you need to borrow that.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, they've got it all set up. We'll have live music today. We have sand art today. We have people reading from the library. Sasha, the Pembroke canine
Oh, nice.
dog, will be joining us today, and there will be some yoga.
Oh, good. And we were going to do the bouncy house, but we thought it was going to rain, right? So you
Yeah.
opted to, we'll hold off on that.
Yep, that will be, I think, sometime in July.
Okay.
July or August, but we'll
Perfect.
advertise that. And there's
Yeah.
a lot going on over there today.
All right, awesome. So what are the hours?
10 to 2.
10 to 2. All right. Well, I have a bridal shower today, and I have to make some cheese and cracker platters, but I'm going to try to swing in there.
You should. And if you can't make it today, we'll be back in 2 weeks. We gave ourselves 2 weeks in June just so that we could have a week off to figure out and readjust and come back even better.
And next week is the grand opening of the community center. You know what? I thought it was today.
It was supposed to be, and they moved it.
Okay, that's where my confusion came in. So I was at an open house, my commuter open house. Melissa was just talking about that last night over at 43 Kenny Lane. And there were a lot of families. It was really nice, actually, to see was a lot of families that grew up in Pembroke. The adults grew up in Pembroke, moved, like one moved to California, one moved to Arizona, some just moved to other local towns. And they all want to come back to Pembroke. And I loved that.
That's awesome.
And I was telling them, I was like, well, the community center grand opening is tomorrow. And I said, and the farmer's market. So at least I got one of the two things right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think they needed an extra week for some of the final touches over there, but it worked out perfectly.
Nice.
So-
Awesome. Well, good job, Emmy. We are super
Thank
proud of you
you.
here at Boston Connect Real Estate. And give everybody your phone number in case anybody wants to find out more, one, about the farmer's market, but more importantly, if anybody is thinking about buying or selling a house and they want to get in touch with Emmy Flaherty, you can reach her.
At 781-217-4580. You can call or text.
Give that number one more time, a little slower.
781-217-4580.
Thank you, Emmy.
Thank you.
Good luck over there. We'll be rooting for you from afar. I'm going to try to stop over there, though. I have a lot of carrots to peel too because I'm doing a veggie platter. So no, I think that that's awesome. So that is, I mean, bringing it back to what our topic was a little bit. You know, last night I did a commuter open house 4 to 6, and what I started to say, Mel, was when I put that listing on the market this week, I started to feel a little anxious about it because I was like, why am I not getting any showings? Like, it just seemed to have, like, the brakes were put on because for so long we would put something on the market and the phone would, like, literally
blow up.
Like, Showing Time would be calling me. That's the program that we use to book all of our appointments. And usually I would have to say to Showing Time, I understand that they want to set up the appointment, but I don't even have it live yet. That's why you can't see it. Like, it just went live 30 seconds ago. So I sort of saw a little slowdown about that. So last night I'm not going to lie, like, I was a little anxious. I was like, did I not price this right? Like, I don't want to second guess myself because I know my numbers. I'm so good at those numbers. Numbers don't lie. And then we ended up having 13 groups of people come through last night.
Yeah, that's awesome.
A lot of interest on that property, which is really nice. And
well, why don't you tell us about the property?
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's 43 Kenny Lane. I'm also going to be there tomorrow from 1 to 3 doing another open house. Again, it's 43 Kenny Lane in Pembroke. It's right off of Route 27, and it actually has beautiful, beautiful views of Silver Lake. It does not abut Silver Lake, but it has beautiful views of Silver Lake. I did put that in as a disclosure. That was another interesting fact. You know, sometimes I'll say things that maybe I shouldn't, and then you'll give me a look, but I'm going to say it.
Uh-oh.
My agent sent me. Okay, that's great. Like, I think everybody should be working with a buyer's agent. I really don't care. I always ask, who is your agent? I'm hoping that you are working with a buyer's agent because that makes the most sense, right?
Yeah.
And, my agent sent me, okay, that's great. Just put down your agent's name. I like to put a name with the face. And then, I gave my little spiel, and I was like, okay, this is Silver Lake that you can see out back. It's beautiful. And I would say, well, I ended up starting to say, because somebody did say to me, no, I didn't know that. I started to say, oh, well, I'm sure that your agent told you that this property does not abut the lake, but we do have views of it, unobstructed views of the lake. But it does not abut the lake. So you can't walk your land right to the lake. And many of the people said no. And I was like, well, I did put it in disclosures in MLS that it doesn't do that. So I don't know. I just feel if you're a real estate agent and you're going to send your client to an open house, I have no problem with that, by the way. I hope that you can help me out one day too, right? And like, somebody is helping me out today. Actually, I did. I have a wedding shower to go to today. Maddie McNamara is getting married, and so the shower is today. And one of my clients wants to see something at Oak Point, and I called the listing agent, and I've done transactions with them in the past, a husband-wife team from another company, and I just reached out and said, hey, hope you don't mind. Like, and I was honest. I have a bridal shower, and my clients are going to go and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, that's perfectly fine. Enjoy your day off. And I was like, that's funny. To have 4 hours off is going to feel like an entire day.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And Mary's doing an open house, so she can't go to it. But yeah, I mean, it's great to have friends in the industry.
In good places.
Good friends in good places.
So a little bit more about this house. Again, it is a great house. And I was telling a lot of people, it's the location. I love the location. It's deeper into Pembroke, like on the Kingston line, Halifax line. It's sort of where I live. I live probably less than 2 miles away from this house. And I like that location. Sometimes people will say, oh, that's too far in or something like that. And because sometimes people are like, oh, I'd rather be up in North Pembroke, easier to get to the highway. What I love about being deeper into Pembroke, and which I'm actually enjoying more, it takes me a little bit longer to get to the highway, but everybody else doesn't have to go through my neighborhoods, you know what I mean, to get to the highway.
Yeah.
So it isn't as congested.
Yeah, not congested, no traffic and stuff like that. So
You saw the house. What'd you think?
I love it. I mean, yeah, the views are great. I mean, if you follow us on social media, so I posted it on Boston Connect Real Estate and on McNamara Horton Group, pictures of literally I was standing on the back deck Mary and I were there for photos last week, and just you could see the water. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I mean, it's a great location, great yard, just a great home. I mean, if you're looking for a 3-bedroom colonial in Pembroke, this is a great opportunity. I feel like,
and it's on the market for $849, and it has the opportunity to expand as well. So there is a big room over the garage that somebody could renovate, and then there's also a walk-up attic.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was funny because I didn't know about the walk-up attic, so I like opened the door thinking it was another closet in the bedroom, and I was like, oh. Yeah. This is the walk-up. I was like, wow, what a great space. And then I went and opened the room that is unfinished over the garage, and I was like, wow, this is a great space. There's just so much room, like potential for growth there, even if you needed more than 3 bedrooms. And, I forget the square footage, but it's huge. It's a great... it's a great opportunity, like I said, in Pembroke. If you're thinking about, right sizing to a home of that
maybe a garage
square footage, or like you said, people coming back into Pembroke. I mean, it just really is a great opportunity.
Yeah. 2,676 square feet of space. Yeah.
And there's a basement. Like it's just
and what a garage.
Oh yeah. What a garage.
It has 2.5 bays and really, really, really high ceilings. So what they opted for, instead of like driving in, it's almost like a drive under, because it's actually on a corner lot. And a lot of people don't even know about Dewey Lane, but Dewey Lane is a street that is publicly maintained in Pembroke. And this house is on the corner. So if you go down Dewey Lane, you can like side entrance into the garage, and it has humongous high ceilings. So if somebody wanted to do a lift or something like that, they could certainly do that in there. Really nicely well maintained. It's just really, really nice. They did a couple, different things, to get the house ready. Did some, new flooring and some new things, new countertop and stuff in the primary bathroom. Last night I was watching something. I was watching on Netflix. What are those shows called? Like Selling Beverly Hills and stuff like that. Well, there's one that's like Selling London, and I was just intrigued by it. I thought it was going to be something different, but I went and I started watching it. And they call, we no longer say the master bedroom, and we around here say the primary bedroom. And then MLS calls it the main bedroom. It's like sort of confusing, but they call it the principal bedroom, and I sort of like that.
Principal.
Yeah. Principal. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll go with it. Maybe we'll start that trend here.
I love how you like give shows a chance even when you don't like them. I don't.
Yeah.
If I don't like them right away, I'm like, forget it.
Yeah.
I'll give it a try.
Yeah, I just feel like I have to get a little bit deeper. Like sort of like a book, sometimes the first couple chapters or the first couple pages, you're like,
But yeah, no, 43 Kenny Lane, it's like I said, it's a great opportunity here in Pembroke.
Yep. And I'll be there again Sunday from 1 to 3. So come and visit me. And I'm coming from another open house, so if I'm running a little late, I'm sort of sorry about that. If somebody comes late into my other one, that always happens. But I'll also be at my new construction in Hanson from 10 to 12, so I'll be coming right from there. So if anybody wants to bring me an iced coffee, that would be great. I'm
just going to put it out there. It's a hard stop at 12. It's got to be a hard stop at 12 tomorrow. But yeah. So,
and I have to tell you one of the cuter things, too, about this property last night, and it was... there was a bunch of people there, and they had little kids, and they were in the backyard, and there was this one family that was from Arizona, and their kids were probably like 7 and maybe 6, well, maybe like 6 and 8 or something, a little boy and a little girl, and there's like a slope in the backyard, and they were rolling down the hill, and I was like, oh, look, Mom, you have to buy the house. I didn't say it out loud, but
yeah. My mom says I watch House Hunters International every night.
I do too.
Principal is another word for main or first bedroom.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Mom. I love international. We should have like a girls'
My mom
night.
has this thing where it's called her lottery house. So if she wins the lottery, every once in a while she'll send me like inspirations on Instagram and all these things. She's like, "Oh, this is from my lottery house. This is my library. This is my dining room. This is like." She has like a vision board.
Good, you should
for lottery house, and I think she gets a lot of that from the international, shows that she watches as well.
I watch that. It's on late now too, and that's one thing I don't like. I think it's like 11 o'clock or something.
Oh, that's late.
Yeah. All right. So here we are at 8:35. If you have any questions about real estate in general, we really were just calling this, what the shift, and
Shooting the shift.
Yeah, shooting the shift this morning, just about real estate. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything that you want to ask us, or any insight that you have, give us a call. We have Tim in the studio, 781-837-4900, 781-837-4900. We would love to hear from you. And if you want, you can go on to any of our social media feeds. We are on Sharon Costa McNamara. That is my personal page. You can also go on to McNamara Horton group on Facebook or Boston Connect Real Estate, or you can go on to Instagram this morning and find us there as well.
We are everywhere.
We are everywhere.
You can't get away from us.
No, you can't.
You can change the channel and you can not follow us, but we don't recommend that.
No, don't change the channel on us. No.
Don't change the channel.
We promise to get a little bit better. Oh, I just screamed. So one of the other things too, we started to sort of hit upon this earlier when I was talking about one of the things that I enjoy doing is helping people price their home, because it really is quite simple. So I mean, honestly, like I could do a CMA for you like right now in front of me because I have MLS up. But if I was looking at a 3-bedroom ranch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at other 3-bedroom ranches that have sold.
Yeah.
Now, that is the important piece, because right now what I'm hearing a lot from people is, well, the house up the street is on the market for this. So, and I think that my house has just as much square footage or more, and my neighborhood is better, so my house must be worth more. It does not work that way. I'm letting you know.
Yeah.
And I've said this over and over again. Nobody has an ugly baby. And
they don't say it to your face.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I don't mean any offense when I say that, hey, I know you don't have an ugly baby. It's just that my lens is a little bit different than your lens, because you have the emotional value tied into what the value of your home is. That's why, like, if I ever decided to sell my home, like, I would have to call somebody else.
Your home, I feel like, would be tough to, like, I know that we're saying how easy it is to, price a house. I feel like your house would be tough because you have made your home as if you were going to age in place and you're not going to sell. So it's, you've done these amazing things to your home that it's like, yeah, I wonder, like, I have no idea, like, you would be too emotionally attached to it. You'd need somebody else to put on.
Who was too emotionally attached to it is Mark.
Yeah. Well, he's done a lot of the
Mark,
work.
Yeah, Mark did all the work. So that's where you go right there. So,
I mean, he definitely has an emotional attachment to the work that he sees every day that he has done.
Yeah. I would probably have to call somebody from another company to come do my CMA.
Why? Because you think so? Like, someone in our office would be like, you could get $5 million for it.
Well, I just think that people would be afraid to tell me the truth.
Yeah.
So, and I wouldn't want to put that
No,
pressure.
I actually don't think that. Actually, I think that there are agents in this office that would, like Trish Flynn, would walk right in and be like, "This is what the number is."
Yeah. That's maybe I would call Trish. Maybe I would just have it like maybe we should do that as an office exercise this fall. Let's do a CMA on Sharon's house and see what the value comes up at. All right, put that in the books.
Okay, CMA on Sharon's
and then
house.
we can make a show of it, right?
Yeah.
So we can like video some of the portions of the, some of the agents, what they're doing. How they're taking their notes, how they do the analysis with me, and then we'll come up with the value. Everybody's really quiet today. No one wants to call us.
Oh, I thought you were like, everybody here. I'm like, I'm the only other person here.
No, like, how come we have no callers?
There's only the two of us here.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I wonder, is anyone listening?
Hello? Or I can see people watching us.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so when I'm looking at the price, let's go back to my analysis here, is I'm just going to look at similar houses. This is where the problem is arising right now, okay? So if you're a seller, listen up, okay? 3 months ago, 6 months ago, and I'm just going to go back 3 months ago, even like February, we started to see it, right? People are putting the house on the market. There was not a lot of inventory. Buyers were excited to see inventory again because they went through this last year. We ended up getting multiple offers on properties right away. We were like, oh my gosh, this is hitting us really quick. Then it ended up generally speaking, when you have multiple offers, that goes over asking. Now, 3 months ago, the numbers So 3 months ago when those houses were on the market, I was looking at comps 3 to 6 months prior to that. Okay. So if we came on the market in February, we were looking back to like November or even further back, right, to get our comps. So we would take that 3-bedroom ranch and we would say, okay, and I'm just going to make up numbers here. All right, so I have, one sold for 400, one sold for 425, one sold for 415, okay? Very similar style, location, all of that. Add those together, divide by 3, that gives us the median, and then we add 3% to each end, which gives us a range, okay? So think about that. The houses that sold 3 months ago, we're looking at comps that were 3 to 6 months prior to that, okay?
Yeah.
So now fast forward, when the buyers saw those on the market, they're like, all right, I love this house. It's on for 400. I'm going to pay 425. I want this house. I'm willing to pay 25 over asking. And I will say, we saw some that were well over 25, right?
Yeah, well
over $25,000, right? Why is my head saying that one of them was almost like 100,000 somewhere? Which one was that?
That was the one that we had 42 offers on.
Oh, okay. So that is now that new number. Now bring it to that, okay? So that house came on the market in February. The value truly was $400,000. That's what it was on the market for. Well, really, it would have been 410-ish, whatever, right? Based on the comps that I chose from 3 to 6 months prior. Then somebody's willing to pay $25,000 more for it. So I'm even just going to make up round numbers here. So let's just say that person, it's on for 410. They say I'm gonna pay 450. Okay, so they paid that much over asking. Now that sold in February. So if I'm looking at February, March, and April, and even May, right? So, or even if it went on the market in February, it probably didn't sell until April, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm looking at that as a comp. So April, May, June, here we are, right? We're definitely within that 3-month zone, and we should go back 6 months because truly that's what we should be doing. But 3 months is a little bit closer. Now that same 3-bedroom ranch is starting at 450, and all the other ones that were on the market, let's say one was 445, one was 450, one was 455. Now we add those together, get our median, and add 3% to each end of that. Now you can see why the prices of houses are going up, okay? So now when I have a house on the market, that's where my baseline is. And I feel as if it isn't accurate because I feel like that baseline is based on, that's probably where they get that. It's based on emotional value, right?
Yeah.
So I have no gauge for emotional value. I have, that's really individual.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that's up to the individual of what their emotional value is worth, truly.
Yeah.
And that's what's driving it. I just remember the first time we did a Saturday show and somebody was not happy with us.
Because we said that, yeah.
Because we said that. So I'm having sort of like PTSD.
Well, don't worry about it, though, because I feel like real estate agents sort of get blamed for everything, to be quite honest.
Everything that's ever gone
anything that's ever
us.
gone wrong, it's the real estate agent's fault. But I feel it isn't us that are telling people. We're literally looking at numbers. We have something under agreement with a client right now. So I'll get into that. Remind me to talk about the condos that Mary has under agreement now. I don't know if you heard that.
Condos that Mary has under agreement.
The client that I've been working with that's out of state.
Oh.
Yeah, so we have something under agreement. But
Excellent.
we'll get back to that. So back to my ranch. Now I'm starting my median is based on emotional value. I think that the mistake that sellers are making right now is thinking that median price, that they're going to get that median price plus more emotional value. And I think the buyers are really, really, really looking at what that list price was originally versus what the sale price was. Because honestly, that gauge is so far off. It's somebody wanted it more than somebody else.
Yeah.
Period. Amen. It could have been next door to their sister, and that's where they wanted to live, right? So, or it could have been, walking distance to the school, and that was important to them. You never know what somebody's motivation is. It could have been, well, every ranch is one level living, so that doesn't make sense for me to use that as an example. But, somebody was moving back into town, and that's exactly what they wanted. So sellers, I think right now think, okay, well, this is the new value of my house. And I agree with that because that's what has sold. So that's the gauge I'm using. Mm-hmm. But please don't think that you're going to get that plus emotional value. I just don't see that happening right now. And I think I'm going to be shifting my thinking a little bit more and being a little more persistent with saying, I understand what your mindset is, but you're much better off to price the house where it should be and allow the buyers to then decide if they want to do emotional value.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that testing the market really is the best avenue to go. I guess it would depend on what the motivation is to sell. So if you have all the time in the world and it's not, important to you to sell it in the first week, then fine. Mm-hmm. See what you can get, see what you can do, but I think we've been talking about this recently, on the show and even in the office, like buyers are very savvy right now. Mm-hmm. And like you said, a $4,300 payment is a hard pill to swallow. Mm-hmm. And I guess on the other hand, someone can say, well, that's the price of owning a house. Well, it's not. Mm-mm. They don't have to buy that house, Yes, certainly somebody can come in and be willing to pay that, but, not everybody is. Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I'm seeing, like when we're talking about testing the market, you saw how quiet I was there because I don't know if you could see the smoke coming out from under my headphones. That means I was thinking. I feel as if you can't test a market that's testing you.
Oh,
is that good?
That's a good one.
Thank you. Feel free to use it.
We have a caller.
Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we have the one and only John in Marshfield.
Hello, John in Marshfield. How are you?
Great. Well, what a lead-in. I don't know if I can live up to that.
The stage is yours, my friend.
We believe in you, John.
I know. Well, hey, I do have some interesting information. I want to know if you guys agree with me that there's a lot of people who are making mortgage payments who might be paying a couple $100 more a month than they need to, because if you own a house and you didn't buy it, and you bought it any time other than the last 2 years, you should not be paying PMI. Mm. And I give you an example. My son bought a house like 2 years ago, Little Down, and I mentioned, I said, your house is worth a lot more than you paid for it, and you might want to get an appraisal. And he did. And guess what? Well above 20% equity, and he doesn't have PMI. And he had no idea. And my guess is there are thousands of people out there who don't realize that the value of their home is absurd. And what's interesting is this, too. His appraisal came in above, like the Redfin, Bank of America, other estimates of value, and right in line with Zillow, which is historically really high. Mm-hmm. And this really opened my eyes. Like, he didn't know he had a couple $100 a month he was wasting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'll bet there's thousands of people in that same boat.
That is a really, really good point. And I know that there are certain loans, like if you have an FHA loan, you have to refinance completely in order to get out of that. So I would, tell people, call your mortgage company for sure, to get that information. But that's a really good point. And you know what, John, one of the other things is, and I know you've been a longtime listener, you probably remember me saying a couple years ago, hey, I see that this recklessness in the market with everybody paying an emotional value, and all of our houses, all the value of our houses is going up. And I'll be honest, I never really looked at it from a PMI perspective, and that is really, really good information for everybody to have. But what I was always saying is now your assessments are going up because everybody's assessment is based on 2-year prior information. So as we're seeing this, this emotional value drive up home sale prices, that's also going to drive up our assessments. And, hey, I've never seen an assessment really come down in value, like in price, so usually that tax rate generally stays about the same. And that's why everybody's seeing tax increases. I know in the town of Pembroke, one of the things that everybody saw that, and their first instinct was, it's the community center. It's the new community center. And we have our grand opening next week. And it really, truly wasn't. I mean, that had a little bit to do with it, but not as much as you're saying. Think about that 20% now. So he bought 2 years ago. He put a little down. Maybe it was even 5%, 3 to 5%, and he's already over 20%. So that's awesome.
And again, that's not a special case. If you look, you can take any home, mark it back 2 years ago. Look at the appraisal or estimated value then, and look at it today. And if you put no money down, you're probably in that 20%. And I agree with you. There's a whole lot of ways in which this stuff does not work for your benefit. But the one thing this does help is the real-time value, however inflated it is. The one thing that you can take to the bank is the appraisal. And the appraisal you can make money off of now. And look, if this thing goes down 10% next year, sorry, bank, you lose the bet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so
Right?
he definitely took advantage of it, right?
Yeah, and I think he saved like $200 a month. And the reason I called is my son's a pretty smart guy. He works in finance. He knew the value of his house was higher, but he didn't really know how much higher. He knew he put very little down. It never even occurred to him that he might want to get an appraisal to get a refinance. And he did. And the number that came back was like shockingly high.
Did he have to refinance, or did his mortgage company just adjust it? Okay, because you just said to refinance. Okay, so they just adjusted it.
Here's the thing. The other thing was, I believe, he did have to. He did not have to refinance, but he did have to pay for an appraisal.
Okay, $500, worth it.
Right.
He'll make that up in 2.5 months. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I just think there's a lot of people who don't realize what shocked me is I'm an older guy, and I paid PMI many years ago, and it was kind of a drop in the bucket. I couldn't believe how high that number is. It's serious money.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. I remember having other conversations with you as well, too. And I believe he one of the ones that sort of stuck with that. He has a really good rate as well.
Take you back 2 years. You and I had this conversation. And we were both already proven right. And we thought it would take 10 years to prove us right.
Yeah.
And we both said, my God, with all these people locking in 2 3/4% mortgages, these people are now married to their mortgage.
Yep.
I hope they like their house because they ain't going anywhere. And we thought that would happen like 10 years ago. They go, well, I guess I'm not going to move up or down. Yeah. It's already happened. Yeah. It's already frozen the market because everybody is madly in love with their mortgage, even if they're lukewarm in their house.
Yeah, it's the lock-in effect is what we have, and a lot of people doing renovations. My husband's a plumber, McNamara Plumbing, and he's doing a lot of renovations because people don't want to give up that rate. I have to tell you, I was talking to somebody recently, and I said to them, I think that you're nuts to give up your house where you are right now with that rate. It's free money, and you know what? You're just getting married. You're just starting that chapter of your life. Why don't you, if you're paying $1,800 a month right now, pretend you're paying $36. Put $1,800 a month away and just let that build. So when you do really want to get, that next house, you have a bigger down payment and you're used to paying minimally $3,600 a month. Thought that was genius. I talked somebody out of selling their house and buying a house with me. Yes, that's the type of agent I am, I guess. I guess it's job security for later on. But yeah, that lock-in effect is definitely is something. And that's a good idea. And I'm going to actually mention that to people about that whole PMI and getting rid of that. But John, one thing is, since you're the one that brought that up to your son, I think he should give you half.
Well, let's put it this way. I got an even better bonus. You know what that was?
What's that?
He moved out of the house to a house he now owns.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. That's
We
So
love
I
We
have the
love
whole
that.
third floor to myself now, and I bought a 75-inch TV, and I'm enjoying myself in the space that he and his wife during the COVID were having. So that to me is priceless.
Well, I have to tell you, that's sort of, like I just said, job security. That's sort of job security for you as well. I'm just going to make sure he can always afford to live in that house so he doesn't come back.
So he doesn't come back to that third floor.
I am concerned, though, about the impact that this would have on the real estate market, particularly in one with low inventory to begin with, particularly where a lot of these towns are now fully built out. And I know you're doing a lot of work to try to expand housing. And there's opposition to new development at every turn in every town. It makes me a little bit dour about the future of, like, living here for people younger than me.
Yeah, you know, it's very interesting because we have this conversation all the time. And as you know, I do a lot of new construction and finding the land. And everyone says, why don't they build something smaller? We just want something smaller. It's because it isn't cost effective. You know, the amount of time, energy. I mean, one of the projects that my developer is working on right now in one of the local towns, he's into this already for 3 years. Think about the attorney fees, engineer fees, you know, going back to town hall, that whole not in my backyard scenario when you have your abutters there that don't want that. You know, there's a lot of that that's going on, and we do have to make some adjustments in order to do that. One of the things I don't like is, you know, when the interest rates went up and people, and then the whole NAR settlement where, you know, that's supposed to hit in August, where the buyer is going to have to pay the buyer agent, you know, if the DOJ gets their way, decoupling that commission, you know, the buyer is going to have to come up with even more money at that time, right? And I don't see how they're going to be able to do it. And I think that what's going to happen is we're going to see a lot of the investors that's where they're going to end up buying everything. Then we're going to have higher rates of rent and everything else. It's going to be a big snowball. But John, you and I could talk about this forever. In fact, you know what? Sometimes when Mark and I are sitting at a bar having dinner and somebody brings up the market and they bring up that lock-in effect, I say, you know what? Me and my buddy John, we were talking about this and we knew it was going to be a problem 2 years ago.
Yes, if you have any questions, just give me a call and we'll tell you what's going to happen.
Exactly. John and I have the crystal ball. So, but John, thank you so much.
And the most important thing is remember the PMI. There's a lot of people unnecessarily paying that. And there's a lot of people who don't have FHA and VA mortgages, you know, private mortgages. I'd say that's the majority. So there's a lot of people that be impacted, and they might not realize that they're well above the 20%, even though they put 5% down.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that we'll do a post on that next week, and we'll make sure we give you creds, okay?
Awesome.
Thank you so much, John.
Thanks, John.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So everybody, that was John, and he calls in, and I love having my conversations with him. He's one of those people where I certainly could sit down all day long and we could talk about data and numbers and this and that. I love the way his mind works, and it helps my mind sort of process a lot of things too. Great idea, great suggestion. If you are currently paying PMI on your property, that's if you bought it and don't have 20%, you maybe should look into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Mel, you're going to talk real quick about all the open houses.
We do have a couple of open houses, new listings here at Boston Connect Real Estate. There's 23 Ponderosa Drive in Hanover. That is listed by Jessica Page. That is on the market for $725. She will be there today from 12 to 2. Matt Mahoney has a new listing, 42 Elm Street in Plymouth. He is going to be there from 10 to 12 today, and that is on the market from $5,099. You talked about your Kenny Lane. You're going to be there until 1 to 3 tomorrow. Kate Fisher has a new listing, 8 Pleasant View Park, Unit 8 in Rockland. That is on the market for $469, and she is going to be there today from 12 to 2. So all of our open houses are listed at bostonconnect.com. You can follow us on social media as well. You can go to bostonconnect.com to find all of our contact information and listen to any of the past shows that you might have missed.
Yeah, so thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And you can go to our podcast, Talk Real Estate Roundtable, or to talkrealestateroundtable.com. We'll see you on Tuesday. Bye, everybody. Bye, Tim. Have a great weekend.
Bye, you too.
I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day.
The South Shore's first choice for live team coverage of breaking news, emergency traffic, and severe weather. 95.9 WATD FM Marshfield.